Here's a question for you. Is marriage overrated?
Why aren't people getting married anymore?
A new Pew Research poll found that 2 in 5 young adults think marriage is an outdated tradition.
Marriage rates are at their lowest right now.
Is marriage really even worth it?
More than half of marriages end in divorce.
If you get married, you have to be stuck with this person for the rest of your life, right? That's why you get married. So that's why it's declining. Why would you get married if you want to have just one partner when you can have multiple?
Marriage is stupid.
Welcome to the Married AF podcast, the self-proclaimed greatest marriage and relationship podcast on the planet. We are your hosts, Matthew and Monica Powers.
Am I making a lot of noise?
No.
Good.
How you doing? I wouldn't know anyways. I don't have headphones on.
Oh.
You may make all sorts of noise. If Monica made a lot of noise right there.
Like that?
You listen, that's what's the ASMR stuff? Kids will eat that up.
It's some letters.
They will love that. So
Our
if you want to
ratings
do
just
that,
went up, right?
Listen, we just got millions of people subscribing and liking and commenting and all of that, all because you made chewy noises in the microphone.
Speaking of millions of people, we're not at millions, but
almost. Not quite.
No, not even close.
Oh yeah. Now I knew Buzzsprout, so who we love Buzzsprout. You guys are amazing. They're the ones who host the podcast, and everything's facilitated through them. I know they had a few little hiccups this past week in numbers. So not everything is entirely accurate. Some things didn't register that they are working on. But we love you, Buzzsprout. You're amazing to us. So thank you.
Well,
so where are we at?
We're over.
Still in LA?
Hold on. Overview. That's just last week. We're over 20,000 downloads.
Look at over 20 grand.
Is that good?
Sure.
Okay. What's cool for me to see is 36 different countries. I think we said that.
It could have been 35 last time.
Or 32 or something like that. Top 4 countries. Oh, we'll go top 5. Obviously, U.S.
Oh, let me guess down.
Okay.
U.S. clearly
Obviously.
number 1. Germany. Is it top 5?
It is in the top 5.
Spain.
Top 5.
Sweden. Oh, man. Okay, what are the other 2? I'm impressed. I mean,
3. You got one more chance. Go for one more to see what.
England. UK.
Yes.
All right, so I got one more. Let's go Canada.
Yes.
I know my audience. I know my audience.
Okay, so we're in 36 different countries.
Yep.
We're in 713 different cities.
That's amazing.
Top 5?
LA, Chicago, Miami, New York.
Yes.
Dallas.
No.
Denver.
No.
Charlotte.
No.
Atlanta.
No.
Okay, I quit. I give up. I couldn't. I have no clue.
Los Angeles, San Jose.
Oh, okay.
Miami, New York, good old A-Town, not Atlanta. Alabaster, Alabama.
I mean, seeing how that's our hometown, of course, people are gonna like that. They're gonna enjoy that. So we appreciate you, everybody.
Yeah, the number 1 place for us is Los Angeles.
Who would ever thought?
Thank you.
Thank you, LA. Thank you to everyone who listens.
Maybe it's the accent that
southern accent. No, I'm saying I don't even have a.
Maybe that's it.
I have a bad fake country accent, like really bad.
Yes.
Just say yes and agree with me, and let's move on.
I only know how. We don't sound like we have accents.
No, but we definitely do.
We do.
Like we go to Boston.
Yes. People are like, oh, are y'all from Texas?
Everyone thinks it's Texas. No, from Alabama.
Forrest Gump State. So,
I wouldn't.
I only have the accent, like the southern or
country
accent when I give my parents' voice.
It's so good too. Like, it's incredible. Your parents' voice is your impression of your parents it's amazing.
If they call and I talk to them and I tell you what they have said.
It's so good.
I only tell you in that voice.
In their voice, because that's the way it needs to be. So thank you, people.
Yes, thank you.
It's incredible what the Lord is doing through this, and we'll continue to do it as long as people want to listen to it.
I mean, East Coast, West Coast. What?
All over the world.
What?
Come on.
Well, yes, but those are the top 5. It's mind blowing to me.
It's awesome. So thanks, everybody. Man, keep at it. We'll keep going as long as you keep listening. So we got questions, advice, statements. We got real world stuff going on today that you're going to be overjoyed for. But let's talk about Paul and his letter to the Philippians. And let's walk through that for just a second, because I mean, why would we not want to do that?
I mean, just go.
Let's see what Paul wants to tell. We need a letter from Paul. Right now, culture today.
Yes.
We badly need a letter from Paul. I would love to read what the letter from Paul would say. It would be scathing. He'd be so mad. So let's just start Philippians 4:4. Always be stoked in the Lord. Like, seriously, be full of joy. I'm not even kidding. Show everyone how chill you are. The Lord is like right here, close by. Don't stress about anything, but pray and ask God for what you need and be thankful while you're at it. And here's the deal. The peace of God, which is beyond our understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Like, it's mind-blowing, for real. Finally, my crew, focus on your thoughts on what's true, honest, fair, pure, lovely, and praiseworthy. If something's virtuous or worth praising, give it some brain time. Get that brain time in. Whatever you learned from me, whatever you received, heard, or saw, put into action. And guess what? The God of peace will roll with you. Yo, I'm like really stoked that you're looking out for me again. I know you've always had my back and you didn't always have the chance. Now you do, and I'm feeling grateful. And just so you know, I'm not saying this because I'm broken. I've learned to be content no matter what situation I'm in. I've been through ups and downs, like seriously, I've experienced it all. I know how to be humble and how to ball out. In every situation, I've learned to be full and satisfied, or hungry and in need. In Philippians 4:13, we'll finish it there. I can handle anything through Christ who gives me strength. Like, seriously, I got this.
Ball out.
Ball out. Paul gonna ball out. His letter to America would be incredible, though. Love it.
There's a reason why we're not in the Bible.
We don't make it, y'all. We don't make it. No one thought the Roman Empire would fall, and it did. All right, so
all those white folks gone.
Let's gone. Done for. All right, so let's get into it. 38-year-old female. She's in a midlife crisis, and she's just worried she's going to do something stupid. Let's find out what's going on here. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 4 kids. I'm 38, been married for 15 years. I love my husband. I love my kids. I have so many good things going for me, but when it comes down to it, I don't love my life or myself. I spend my days taking care of my 2 youngest and running my 2 oldest around in their activities. I'm busy and not in a good way. Busy and I'm taking care of everyone else kind of way. My life from the beginning of my marriage has always been my husband being the number one priority in our life. He went to med school, so I followed him across the country, living very poorly and taking care of our children without any family around. Didn't finish school because we had to leave for med school, and I got pregnant. He's done with school and residency. He's been practicing for a couple years. He has a great job, and we're good financially now. My problem is I've lost myself. Completely and totally buried and gone. I don't even know where to start looking for myself. I have social anxiety, regular anxiety, and recurring depression to add to my fun bingo card. My biggest worry right now is that to be able to feel something. To be able to get out of my rut and to be able to get validation that I need so badly outside of being a support wife and mom, that I'm going to do something stupid like look for an affair. I guarantee she already has. This idea disgusts me, but I also know I need something to help me feel anything. I'm in therapy. I'm taking antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication. I even beginning to start ketamine. I take Xanax when it gets really bad. I'm not addicted, but some weeks and months I have to take it more than others. I have no hobbies or interests. Nothing excites me. And even if it did, I'm jam-packed taking care of my kids, getting them to do their things, supporting my husband's career, and taking care of the house. When I have downtime, I doom scroll the internet because it's mindless. My phone is right there and requires nothing from me. Done. Sad state of affairs, this is. All right, couple things. My thoughts. Antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds, ketamine. I don't even know what that is.
I just looked it up because I didn't either.
What is ketamine?
It is anesthetic that has some hallucinogenic
Hallucinogenics. Words are hard.
effects. It distorts the perception of sight and sound, makes you feel disconnected.
Interesting. She also takes Xanax. Number one, there's a problem there. You're taking pills for all of this stuff. Now, I don't want to discount that anxiety is real and depression is real. Absolutely, it is. However, there's ways to get through that and deal with that is not filling yourself full of drugs. I get that, hey, maybe your husband's career was number one priority. You went along with that perfectly fine. You went along with that without any problem at all. You kind of understood that. I have no hobbies. I have no interests. Do something. Do something. Go out and take a walk. Exercise a little bit. Put your phone away. But if you really want to get out of this rut, and as followers of Christ, I know this will sound cliche, you need to find Jesus. You're talking about in therapy, antidepressants, anxiety meds. I have social anxiety, regular anxiety, depression. You badly need to seek Jesus. We just read Paul's church to the letter to the Philippians. Just talked about it. Can do all things through him.
There's nothing wrong with therapy.
No, there absolutely. Therapy, I think, is a great thing that a lot of people don't use. They don't
covering all of the issue up with a pill. All I think of is Wedding Crashers. Go comatose for me, baby.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's exactly what you're doing.
That's exactly what it is.
But anything else that you wanted to add to that? Because
nope.
Mine's very simple.
Let's hear it.
Why do people with money have so many issues? I can't do this. I can't do this. I do all the things. You got money? You got all that money to pay for them pills and that therapy? You got money for a nanny.
It just goes to show you.
You got money for a gym membership.
Money does not buy happiness.
No.
Never has, never will.
But if you have all these problems and you're spending all this money on the things that you are trying to cover it all up with, why don't you do something for yourself since you do everything for everybody else? Get a maid. Get a nanny. Your husband's obviously doing well.
Here's number one, and we'll move on to the next one. I would be willing to bet husband has no clue this is how you feel because you have not communicated that to him. And if you did, I guarantee you would begin to see things start to shift just a little bit. It wouldn't happen overnight. It's not going to be easy, but you would see things begin to shift so you could take some time for yourself. You know, we've talked about me time, and I don't like the phrase me time, but yes, we need time to ourselves to take care of ourselves every now and again, but we take care of ourselves so we can take care of others, not just to take care of ourselves. I would be willing to bet that's it.
If you're not taking care of yourself, how are you supposed to take care of all those people that you say you're taking care of?
Your cup cannot overflow to others if it is constantly running on empty. And you have to be able to fill that cup.
And not fill it with pills.
Exactly. Husband needing advice right here. My wife is 37. I'm 36. We've been together for 5 years, married for 2. She has 2 girls who are 12 and 8 from a previous relationship that I love and treat as my own, and we now have an 8-month-old together. The problem is we've been having issues since before we got married. When I got back from my second deployment 3 years ago, it was like she was a completely different person. It's like she doesn't want to participate in our relationship anymore. When I try to talk to her about it, she says she's depressed and will completely shut down and not want to talk about it. I try to be as understanding as possible and let her work through it, since she refuses my help, but she refuses to get any help or really do anything to help herself. I do all the day-to-day for everyone around the house, the cooking, the cleaning, laundry, taking care of the dogs, etc. Every now and then she'll get a wild hair and deep clean the house, but that's maybe once a month. The last time we slept together was probably a third of the way through the pregnancy over a year ago. And before that, it was few and far between. We've probably slept together only a total of 10 to 15 times in the last 2 years since we got married. But worse than that, she refuses any type of physical connection. No cuddling up on the couch and watching movies. No holding hands. We probably kiss each other on the lips twice this entire year. None of them, one of them was on New Year's. Once again, when I try to talk to her about this, she claims it's depressing and overstimulates her, and she completely shuts down the conversation. We've been fighting more and more recently, and I fear we aren't going to be able to get through this. She will randomly blow up at me in front of the kids about the house not being in order, or for whatever reason is bugging her at that time, and I will refuse the argument because I don't want to raise our kids in an environment where they see their parents arguing all the time. I've asked her about going to marriage counseling or therapy together, and she just refuses. I'm sure there are things, and I thought this was huge. I'm sure there are things that I'm not doing perfect by any means. And this is my side of the story. But I try my best to be self-aware and understanding of her as I can. I'm just at a loss right now. It feels like every turn I take is the wrong one. It almost feels like we're just roommates and that's all the relationship has become. Any advice is welcome about how to handle this because I'm at the end of my rope.
Did the husband of the first person that sent in this question send this in?
You know, it's possible, I guess. I mean, it almost sounds like two completely opposite sides of the story.
There's always three sides to a story.
There is.
Your truth, their truth, and the truth.
Yes.
And I feel like this was okay, we heard what the wife had to do, and that's how she feels. And now we get the husband's point of view. That's how he feels.
Look, I'm never for separating or divorce, but when the other person refuses to do anything about it, refuses to help, refuses to get involved. I love that this guy says, hey, I'm aware that I'm not perfect and there are probably things that I'm doing that I could work on, but I'm at a loss. And that's always the first way to solve any problem is recognize that you have one. Seems like she does not recognize that she has a problem whatsoever.
Or she does and doesn't want to face it.
Oh, there's that too.
Because if he goes to talk to her about it and she just says she's depressed and doesn't talk about anything, but you want to talk about how things are not kept up around the house.
Right.
What are you doing to keep up around the house?
That's true.
I'm just depressed.
I'm depressed and overstimulated.
Every time I hear somebody say, oh, I'm just so depressed. If you were telling people you're depressed, you're not depressed.
No, probably not.
Most depressed people who are truly depressed,
they put on that smiling face,
are not going to show you they're depressed.
No, they're going to show you that everything is fine.
They're not going to say they are depressed.
No, they're going to hide it really, really well.
Absolutely.
Really, really well. So I
but
sympathize.
This guy, I do and I don't, because if he knew what he was getting into before he married the woman.
I will say that at the very beginning, there were problems before we got married. I mean, that just screams like, well, what were you thinking, man? I mean, getting married and having a baby is not going to fix your problems. A lot of people think that it will, but it's not going to do that.
Why do people think that?
I don't know. I don't have any idea.
It's going to be way more strain because there's way more responsibility.
It's going to be a lot more stressful.
And financial issues.
Major. So here's another one. You'll love this. My wife and I have been married for 2 years, together for 4. Prior to dating me, she was with her high school boyfriend for 8 years. He broke up with her and she was devastated at the time. I knew she still had feelings for him when we started dating, but thought those would fade over time. 4 years later, they still haven't, and I don't know what to do. She cried when he got married to someone else and when they got pregnant. I catch her looking at his Facebook and Instagram pages. They don't talk, but if he ever reached out, I'm sure she wouldn't ignore him. A few months ago, I threatened to leave her and she broke down and begged me not to. She knows this is a problem for her and she promises she will eventually forget him, but it's been 4 years. Says, I'm not my wife's first choice. How do I deal with this? That's a tough one right there.
I don't have answers for the guy. But I know females like this.
Okay. Elaborate. If you can.
I'll elaborate to the point where I can, so it's not oh my God, Monica just told blah, 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 blah. That's not what I'm trying to do. My point is, the females that I know that are still into their ex
Okay.
will never ever move forward. It'll look like they're moving forward. But no matter what, they're going to still stalk. They're still going to talk about them, especially if, he said they were together for 8 years. It's worse if they would have had kids themselves together. But have you had the conversation with her? Have you said, hey, it bothers me that you still do all of this? There's that.
I mean, it's possible, but how real in depth is it?
She doesn't know. Then how is she supposed to, stop doing those things?
Right.
You have to let her know, hey, really chaps my you-know-what when I find that you've been this or that.
Why do you think this happens?
That was maybe their first love.
Yeah.
They were not the ones who ended the relationship.
Right.
Or they didn't want to end the relationship. But I know girls that they cheated on the guy. The guy found out, broke up with her.
She never wanted to end it, but she cheated.
She didn't want out. She wanted her cake.
And ate it too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she was trying to do. He leaves and she's devastated. She knows what she had and she messed it up. I know 2 of them, 2 females that have done that to 2 different guys after the first one. They're still worried about that first guy because they were so attached. That was their safety net in a sense. But
he'll always be there.
I can always count on him.
Right.
But when they see that, oh, he's married now. Oh, he's got a kid. Oh my God, I can't ever, blah, 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 blah. He'll never be mine. It's always the what if. They're the what if girls. What if we'd have stayed together? What if we'd have done this? And what if I didn't cheat on him with this person?
I get it.
Talk to her. But, bro, if you knew she was still in love with the guy when y'all are together and you just hoped that the feelings would change, that is hoping to change somebody. You can't change somebody.
Like, I can understand that, hey, you got together, you saw that she was still hung up on her ex. I can get that. And you're going to date and be boyfriend and girlfriend either. Even
should have had a way longer engagement.
But before you make that decision, hey, we're going to get married, you have to be be positive for the fact that, hey, she's over this dude. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in this boat.
Jeez.
Right. Here's
at least they didn't have kids together.
Here's one mostly strictly that you'll need to answer here.
Oh,
I am ashamed that I, a 33-year-old female, can't do anything to put my 28-year-old husband in the mood. We have sex, but when he just so happens to be in the mood already. And I don't think there's anything I can do to seduce him. Here's what I've tried: walking around in sexy clothes, making out with him, straight up telling him I want to have sex, feeling him up while we're sitting together. I send him pictures of myself, and I think it may have done this back in the day, but now it just does nothing. We have different schedules, so occasionally when he initiates, I'm already asleep. He gets home around 4 a.m., and I have to get up for work at 9 a.m. I'm usually in the mood in the afternoons, which is basically the only time we're both at home and awake. He initiates maybe once every 2 weeks. I'd prefer to do it nearly every day. So wives, give me your tricks, please. How do you initiate sex with your husband? How do you be the one who starts it all? Thoughts?
Get naked.
Pull the naked woman?
The naked man works every time.
The naked woman works every time. The naked man doesn't work every time, but it almost works. It works a lot of the time. So what are things to do if wives are struggling and their husbands just aren't in the mood as much as they would like, which you typically don't see this, but it happens?
There's something else going on, sister.
There could be. Now,
she's already saying that they're opposite schedules.
They're opposite schedules, opposite work schedules. Even then, I mean, still once every couple weeks is not terrible. We see people who are way worse. We've seen the studies that shows about once a week is about average and normal. So it's not like they're not doing it, but she clearly wants it a whole lot more. So what does she need to do to be able to, hey hubby, let's get this figured out already.
Wake up early, girl.
I love that you said this, because she goes on to say afterwards, I left this out for a reason. She said, morning sex has changed everything. Pure genius. That it has changed everything. Waking up early and having sex in the morning is everything now. It's those little things. And hey, maybe that's something to throw on your little test kitchen menu. Try not at the end of the night, after all day long, after a heavy dinner, try different times in the day. Maybe it'll work out for you.
Get yourself a nooner.
Gotta love it.
Afternoon delight.
Any other advice you want to give to the women?
I wish I had advice to give, because it's usually the opposite way around. And I would be like, hey girl, you need to do it, because if you're not going to give it to him, he's going to get it from somewhere else.
But that's not the case. She is totally the other way around.
I couldn't imagine.
No.
Maybe some heavy petting. I don't know. She said she tried that.
Heavy petting. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's move on. I got 2 left for you.
I'm sorry.
My wife talks to guys online for money.
What?
My wife is basically sexting with guys online and on the phone for money. I'm working to support our family, and she's a full-time student, so she can't really work a job at the moment, and our finances are very tight. My question is, I don't really know what to think or how to feel about it, because she doesn't seem to be emotionally involved in any of it, and our relationship and sex life together is great otherwise. Of course, I wish she wouldn't be doing this, but the extra money is helping. So any advice or suggestions would be welcome. I know how I feel about this situation, so I'm guessing I just want to see what other people's thoughts and opinions may be. I'm trying to gauge if I'm overreacting or being naive.
I'm going to tell you why your sex life's great, bro.
Because she's getting all worked up on the phone and sexting.
Wait, I don't understand how you can still do that. Like, get paid for it?
Apparently so.
Maybe I'm naive.
Maybe so.
But and they're AI now.
Well,
things?
There's all sorts of stuff for that now. But I mean, guys can be dumb sometimes.
Yes.
And when they get that mindset, they'll drop cash without thinking about it. Here's my thought. Here, this guy really wants to know what to feel about this. You're pimping out your wife for money.
It's no different than stripping.
That's exactly what you're doing right now.
She's just being a tease.
So should you be okay with this? No, you should not at all. I know you're saying doesn't seem she's going to be emotionally involved. When we get to this level of intimacy with somebody, I know we think we can separate sex and feelings, but at the end of the day, you can't, because those go hand in hand with each other. It's eventually, if it hasn't already, going to be emotionally involved with someone else. He's pimping out his wife.
Yeah.
Last one, husbands and wives. This is just a statement. They want thoughts on biblical submission, the idea that the Bible tells us about submitting. Talking to someone about submission, they don't believe that as the leader, every decision needs to be a discussion. Essentially, they're saying that the husband just needs to make executive decisions for the sake of efficiency. I don't necessarily agree, but I'm open to understanding better. What are your takes, especially the married people? I'm trying to understand biblical submission better.
I want to hear your thoughts on this one first, Mr. Powers.
Absolutely. I'm happy to do it. So biblical submission, I know this is
it's a dirty word.
It's a hot topic. Like submission is, oh, no, we're not going to do it. Bible clearly states, wives, submit to your husbands. There's Ephesians chapter 5. It's all right there, and people hate this so much. The verse directly before that says you submit to each other out of the reverence for the Lord. That's number one. You submit to the Lord. Wives, you submit to your husbands. Men, you die for your wives, meaning you give up everything in your life, everything that you think is important, everything that you enjoy doing for the sake of your wife first. Now, when it comes to actual decisions and everyday decisions, no, there does not need to be a discussion over every single decision that's made. The average human every day makes anywhere between 33 and 35,000 decisions a day. It's a ridiculous amount. Like the words that I'm about to speak is a decision. What I'm going to eat for lunch? How fast am I going to drive? Am I going to brake? Am I going to turn here? We make all these decisions every day, even decisions as simple as, what am I going to eat for lunch? Do you need to talk to your husband or your wife every single moment of every single day to discuss what type of food you're going to have? Not every decision needs to be decided upon both parties. Now, if you're submitting to each other out of reverence for the Lord, big decisions that are going to impact your spouse, those need to be discussed. If it's going to impact your spouse in a somewhat large way, it's going to impact your family, if it's going to impact your career, if it's going to impact anything that is going to impact your spouse directly, those are some things that you need to have conversations about. Otherwise, every decision, no, it'd be impossible to do that.
Our TV died last week in the bedroom while you were out of town. I went mad, made a decision.
Yes, you did.
I went and got us a new TV. Didn't tell you. I got a bigger TV. I moved the TV up higher on the wall. So when we lay in the bed, we can see all of the TV and not have to worry about the covers being out of the way. Didn't tell you at all.
Well, and let me say something on that real quick.
It was mostly for a surprise.
Well, because some people would think, oh my gosh, being TV is a big decision. And for some, a TV can be a big decision. However, when you know your spouse well, and you know your spouse like we know each other, you know that, hey, this is the best decision for both of us. This is a decision he is going to be completely on board with. So it's also knowing your spouse that well.
And knowing that I did not spend thousands of dollars on a TV. It was, with taxes, $300 and some change.
It's a bedroom TV. It's not like we're getting the thing that rolls up out of the wall that's $20,000. No, that'd be absurd. That's something to discuss. But yes,
I want to make that. Already have most of the parts.
Well, yes. But so, I mean, when it comes to submission,
like if I'm going to go buy a new car, abso-freaking-lutely.
Yes.
If you're going to go get a loan.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You're going to do some repair or some work to the house. Our hot water heater died this past week. You didn't just willy-nilly, I come home and have no clue that the hot water heater had died and you replaced it. No. Hey, hot water heater died. This is what happens. We can't get the pilot relit. This thing is over 20 years old. I have someone coming out. They're going to take a look at it and replace it on Thursday. Absolutely. That's the decision. Hey, you're saying I made this decision because this is what we need, but I'm also going to tell you about it. That way, if there's any type of disagreement whatsoever, we can discuss that before it happens and we can be on the same page.
Well, that it also helps that our brother-in-law works for the city, works for the gas and the water. So when you call him and say, hey, I've tried to light this thing 10 times.
And it just won't work.
It's old as the house. And turns out it's older than the house.
Yeah, it's 26,
1998.
26 years old, that hot water heater. Good for you, hot water heater. Right? You lasted a while.
Go for gas, hot water. So they said that hot water heater, we couldn't replace the little thing and it actually possibly work because it's that old.
Right.
So he said, it'd probably be better for you to get a new one. So I was like, well, we know we trust Eric. So absolutely. Who do I need to call?
Yeah. Who's the best person to call to get this handled?
And I knew he would know. So I was trusting that. And you would do the same thing.
Yes. And of course, it's something we'll, mention to the other and talk about it with the other person, just in case there was something But yes,
But it's a need.
it's an absolute need. It's something that has to be done. Do I want to drop $1,000 on a hot water heater and install and all that? No,
but
nobody does.
Nobody does.
But it's something you have to do.
It's like the air conditioner. If the air conditioner were to go out, oh God, it's 90 something degrees here. We want the AC.
We want the AC. And that's one thing of being in a marriage and being on the same page and living by this idea in Ephesians chapter 5 of submission, because we fully wholeheartedly believe that. But I've given authority over to you for me, and you have given authority over to me for you. And we allow each other to make some decisions for each other because we are on the same page and we do talk about it. And there's nothing that we know the other is going to do that is going to make a decision that's going to be harmful to us in any way, shape, or form.
We are not about ruffling feathers.
No, we're going to do what's
not rock
best,
the boat.
What's best for us and our family and be best for us together. I think with this idea of submission, that's kind of what we get into when it talks about decisions. You have to be on the same page, but you have to submit to the Lord together. Wives, submit to your husbands. Men, give everything up for your wives, and it works.
I just feel like by using the word submit,
it's a dirty word.
It's a cuss word now. Oh, you can't do that. It's a whole reason why most people probably think from our last podcast, men are useless.
Exactly. You're right. Because men have.
Why would I give anything over to him? Because he's stupid.
Well, women read that and say exactly that. And men read that like, yeah, submit to me. No,
get my beer, woman.
And said it plenty of times, but she's not going to submit to you until you can wholeheartedly 100% answer the question, am I worth submitting to?
Ooh, yes.
And if you're not worth submitting to, no, she should not submit to you whatsoever. Are you worth submitting to? And if the answer is yes, then absolutely she should. That way you are walking hand in hand with each other.
If you don't know the answer to the question, if you're worthy to be submitted to, you need to ask 3 people that are going to tell you the truth.
The 3 people.
Not what you want to hear.
3 people in your lives that you've given that okay to call you out when you're being an idiot. Yeah, you're 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all we got for today.
Those
were fun. Just wait till next time. Oh, just wait till next time. I'll get you even more. Let's get out of here. I'll let you get back to your new favorite TV show because I know I pulled you away for your TV show and you can get back to the London family.
Bridgerton.
The Bridgerton family. I know you're about to start season 2. You watched all season 1 in 24 hours. So God, we love you. We're so thankful for everything that you do. And God, just want to pray over this platform, the people who hear this, the people who need to hear this. God, just make sure it gets to them. Whatever circumstance they may be going through, use us in any way that you see fit that is needed only for your glory and for your honor. God, we love you and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Play ball.